welcome everyone to another episode of Reese's Roundup. I am your host, the Lightning Kid himself, and today, guys, free agency has been super confusing. Wow, I was never expecting any of these moves to have happened the way they did, and I'm just at a loss for words. I mean, we've had so many big moves that I've been trying to get you a video, but each and every time I want to record, something else big happens. I was going to talk to you guys about the Chris Paul trade, but then Paul George got traded. And then I was going to talk to you about well, you get what I mean. But this has been one hell of an offseason, and it's only been 2 days since the free agency period has started. So, let's go around the world and talk about what has happened on the West Coast, because my God, the East has not been doing a damn thing, and I don't know. I think the West is now starting to stack up for these Warriors. So let's see what we got first. We got Paul George going to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now this was a huge shocker to me because I was expecting George to have landed with the Celtics, to have landed with the Clippers, maybe stay with the Pacers so that way he could do something for them for that last season and then go to the Lakers afterward. So I was not expecting the Pacers to just be like, hey, yo, we're done with you, get your ass up out of here, go take your talents to the Thunder, we'll get Oladipo of all people, and we're going to ball out with him. So that trade was a good trade for the Thunder, but it wasn't a good trade for the Pacers. And hell, it might not have even been good for the Thunder, because what if Paul George doesn't like it within OKC and then he still ends up leaving to LA? It seems like Paul George is very content on going to the Lakers, so no matter where he ended up, whether it was staying with the Pacers or going to a different team, he's probably still going to end up going to LA in 2018. So, I don't know, maybe if Russ can figure out, hey, you know, let's ball out together and win ourselves some more games, then maybe he'll stay and they'll bring in some more talent. But this definitely helps Westbrook, and out of all people, because he didn't have any help, and now that he has George on his team, they'll win a couple more games. They won't be powerhouse Western team, but they'll definitely be in the running and in playoff contention. They'll finish with a higher seed than they did last season, so I'll give them that. But yeah, this was a good move for the Thunder. Paul George is definitely going to make an impact for them. I'm not saying that they're going to win the championship or even get to the Western Conference Finals, but it'll definitely help Westbrook and the rest of their team in scoring and doing something. We got Jimmy Butler to the Timberwolves. Now, this was something that I wasn't expecting either, because I was expecting Jimmy Butler to have either gone to the Boston Celtics or so yeah, I was a bit confused about that, but you know, they said, hey, if Jimmy's gonna leave, we might as well ship his ass too. So they sent him to the team that they might not have expected to have win any more games. But the Timberwolves aren't that bad of a team, but they are not that good of a team either. They finished like 13th, 9th, 11th in the Western Conference. They won 31 games last season, guys, and that's not good. And Jimmy Butler's not going to help them win, or maybe not even get into the playoffs. I don't think Jimmy Butler is that good to say, hey, now that I'm here, I'm going to get us into the playoffs. Because being out of playoff contention and only winning 31 games, and now you got a great player in Butler on the offensive and defensive side, but he's not that guy who's a killer, I want to say. I'd give him maybe another year or two before he's got that, you know, Kobe, LeBron, KD mentality where he can just take over a game at any given moment and just snap. But it's not going to happen with the Timberwolves. I don't see them making the playoffs. Maybe the 8th seed, but I don't know. I don't think they'll be super stellar. But I will be watching out for them. They will do well, because this was a good deal for the Timberwolves. They only gave up Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn and some first-round picks. So this was a good deal on the Timberwolves' behalf. We got CP3 to the Rockets. Now this one This one was one I wasn't expecting either, because I was expecting Chris Paul to have gone to the Spurs. They would have been so dynamite if Chris Paul had gone to the Spurs, but no longer, because the Rockets gave up Pat Beverly, first team all defense, great defender, and who else? Sam Decker. Sam Decker? Or is it some Decker? A Decker. They gave up, whatever his name is, they gave him up. And they also gave up, who else did they give up? Help me out here. Who else did they give up? They gave up somebody else. and a first round pick. Or a third round, or second round pick, I mean. Something like that. But in any case, Chris Paul is now on the Rockets. And this wasn't the best idea for the Rockets, because Patrick Beverly is just as good, if not better, on defense than Chris Paul. And I know Paul is a better shooter and passer, but, you know, he's getting up there in age, and he's not going to stick around forever. And Beverly, he's been getting better with each passing season. So, plus James Harden was a great point guard on the Rockets when he played last season at the point guard position. So I don't think that Chris Paul coming in and wanting the ball as much as James Harden wanted the ball is going to help the Rockets so much. So I wasn't sure about this deal, but I guess they got another scorer in Paul, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes for the Rockets. We got Blake Griffin staying with the LA Clippers for a lot longer now. He signed a $173 million deal. Now, Blake Griffin is not as good as people want to think. I think he's an overrated player, and I don't think he should have even stayed with the Clippers, because now that Paul is gone, and I don't know. I don't think the team is going to be anything with him staying on the team. Plus, he's injury prone, so the guy will probably get you 41 games next season, and then he's out. So we'll see what happens with Blake Griffin, but I mean, you know, he's not going to complain about the money, but I don't think it was a good deal for the Clippers trying to get him to stay. Ricky Rubio was traded to the Jazz. Now, I wasn't going to say anything about him because I don't really think he's all that, but the Jazz now have a point guard, because Ricky Rubio is a solid passer. He can score every now and again if he wants to, if he feels like it. And this gives Gordon Hayward a chance to, you know, say, hey, all right, we got ourselves another player. Let me think about if I want to stay or not. So Ricky Rubio to the Jazz. We'll see how that works out. Jeff Teague signs with the Timberwolves. Now, this is another good deal for the Timberwolves, because Jeff Teague is not a bad player. He's very, 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 very underrated. He was solid with the Hawks. He didn't really get his chance with the Pacers, but I think with Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns, Jeff Teague will now have a solid team to play around. So I want to give the Timberwolves the benefit of the doubt, but I still don't think they'll be in playoff contention just yet. Breaking news, Paul Millsap was just traded to the Nuggets not too long ago. He got himself a 3-year, $90 million deal. Wow. Paul Millsap is okay. I think he was solid for the Hawks given what they were given, but at the same time, I don't think he'll be so solid for the Nuggets. I don't know, the Nuggets really don't have anybody, so we'll see how that works out, but I feel like this I mean, if I'm Paul Millsap, I don't care where I go, because I just got $30 million a year for the next 3 years, so I'm not complaining about that. But if I were the Nuggets, I would have tried to get somebody better, like a guard or a forward, but I guess Millsap will help them out in some way, but I wouldn't say playoffs immediately. John Wall was offered to stay with the Washington Wizards for $174 million. Now, if I was John Wall, I would not think about this at all, but he says he's considering it. Maybe he wants to go higher, maybe not. John Wall is definitely worth a lot of money because he's a great defender and a great offensive player. So whatever the case, I feel like whatever he gets is what he deserves. Andre Iguodala stays with the Golden State Warriors for 3 years, $38 million. This was a good move for Andre Iguodala. He was exercising his options. He was testing the waters, seeing where else he could go, but he realized, you know, Golden State was where it was at. He wouldn't have had any other option anywhere else. I think he made the right move staying with the Warriors, only because, I mean, it's the Warriors, you know, they got the dynamite powerhouse team. Nobody can stop them. So staying with Golden State was probably the better idea. If he had gone anywhere else, I think the Spurs or the Grizzlies would have been a better fit for him, just because he plays solid defense and he can score when needed. I guess he didn't want to. He wanted to be a starter elsewhere, but realized he couldn't, and he would have gotten less money. So staying with Golden State would have been the better option. That's how I think it was in his mind, but it was probably something else, like, hey, you know what, I can win myself a third championship with this team, might as well just stay. So, smart move for Iguodala. Kyle Lowry re-signed with the Toronto Raptors, 3 years, $100 million. Now, I think this was dumb for Kyle Lowry, to be honest, because I think he should have went to the Spurs. Now, I say this because Tony Parker's getting old, and I don't think Patty Mills is starter material just yet. So Kyle Lowry coming in and helping the Spurs with his passing and scoring would have been beneficial for the team. But I see why he would stay, because the Spurs would not have given him that much money. And to be honest, that's like pretty much the only thing that happened in the East, because everybody else wants to take their talents to the West. So Kyle Lowry, I don't think he's that good. I think he's overrated, but I don't think he's, you know, overrated, if that makes sense. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's as good as he thinks he's good. So this was, you know, he's making the money now, but his team still won't get past like the second round. So that's on him. Kyle Korver re-signed with the Cleveland Cavaliers, 3 years, $33 million to suck because he did not show up in the finals. I'm sorry, I'm still salty about that. Okay, so Kyle Korver decided to re-sign with the Cavs to come off the bench again for 3 years, and the guy's like already, what, 37 years old? So he's gonna be playing for a really long time just to brick threes a lot more. But, you know, he's making the money, so good on you, Kyle. Last but not least, that scumbag Steph Curry re-signed with the Warriors, 5 years, $201 million. Wow. $40 million a year. That's crazy. Just to shoot the ball a lot. That is ridiculously insane. But I can't hate on that, because I would do anything to make $200 million over the course of 5 years. That's insane. But I still hate you, Steph. So suck it. That's going to do it for today's episode of Reese's Roundup, guys. Let me know what you think about all these trades and re-signings and other deals. Did your team get who they wanted? Because the Grizzlies sure as hell ain't making any moves now that they have to pay an injury-prone Chandler Parsons $98 million for the next four years. So they probably don't have any money in their pockets to sign anybody that's worth a damn! Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys want to see for the next video. I'm out. I'm still salty. Peace.